Yes, Pushkarni, what you were saying. This is week 13 and second session. Yes, Pushkarni. ऋतिका को बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया पुष्करनी ने। ऋतिका, आपको समझ में आ गया ना?
हाँ मैम।
Good. And by the way, she is a lawyer actually.
अच्छा।
नहीं, आप हो ना, आपने किया है ना लॉ, LLB तो आप ही ने किया है ना?
हाँ मैम, LLB अभी कंप्लीट हुआ 2-3
कंप्लीट
महीने।
हुआ है। हाँ वही।
हम्म।
तो दैट इज अ गुड प्रोफेशन। अगर आप आगे नहीं भी ले जाना चाहते तो यू हैव लॉट ऑफ चॉइस।
राइट मैम।
ठीक है ना? सो यहाँ पर हमें वो एक ही चीज को बार बार बोल रहे हैं, यू कंटिन्यू टू बिल्ड अप ऑल द एविडेंस यू कैन मस्टर ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द हीलिंग पावर विद इन which created all the organs in the first place. Look, we are talking about like, okay, whatever the external sickness or whatever we are facing, we can only, change it. We can only change it, right? So let us continue the same thing। वो हम आपके लिए बोल रहे थे कि जब आपने कोई प्रोफेशन चूज करना है आगे, तो एक जो सबसे ज्यादा दिल के करीब है ना, that your sixth sense says, yeah, this is really, I want to, you can imagine a good state के how this is going to happen, like मैं ये, मुझे इसके अंदर क्या क्या बेनिफिट्स हैं। तो हम ये देख रहे हैं ना, जब जब हम यहाँ पर किसी की हीलिंग की भी बात कर रहे हैं, तो वी आर ओनली थिंकिंग कि वो उस पर्सन को बेस्ट ऑफ हेल्थ में देख रहे हैं। तो जब हम उसको बेस्ट ऑफ हेल्थ में देख रहे हैं, तो ऑटोमेटिकली थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू अलाइन टू इट। बस उस वक्त हमें समझ नहीं आता कि ये कैसे होगा, बट द थिंग इज दिस कम्स विद प्रैक्टिस, लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस। सो इन्होंने बहुत सारे टेक्निक्स हमें दिए हैं जिससे हम अपनी लाइफ की बहुत सारे चेंजेस ला सकते हैं। चलो लेट्स कंटिन्यू पुष्करनी।
Okay. Shall I continue reading?
Yeah.
The absolute method is like modern sound wave therapy. Many people throughout the world practice this form of prayer treatment with wonderful results. The person using the absolute method mentions the name of the patient, such as John Jones, then quietly and silently thinks of God and his qualities and attributes, such as God is all bliss, boundless love, infinite intelligence, all powerful, boundless wisdom, absolute harmony, indescribable beauty, and perfection. As he quietly thinks along these lines, he is lifted up in consciousness into a new spiritual wavelength, at which times he feels the infinite ocean of God's love is now dissolving everything unlike itself in the mind and body of John Jones, for whom he is praying. He feels all the power and love of God are now focused on John Jones, and whatever is bothering or vexing him is now completely neutralized in the presence of the infinite ocean of love and life and love. The absolute method of prayer might be likened to the sound wave or sonic therapy recently shown me by a distinguished physician in Los Angeles. He has an ultrasound wave machine which oscillates at a tremendous speed and sends sound waves to any area of the body to which it is directed. These sound waves can be controlled, and he told me of achieving remarkable results in dissolving arthritic calcareous deposits as well as the healing and removal of other disturbing conditions. To the degree that we rise in consciousness by contemplating qualities and attributes of God, do we generate spiritual electronic waves of harmony, health, and peace. Many remarkable healings follow this technique of prayer.
Such a beautiful thing. The absolute method of prayer might be likened to the sound wave
Sound.
or the sonic therapy. So, that is kind of a chant, right? It becomes
Yeah.
like a chant also. That when we are praying,
Yeah, chant is also a sound therapy only.
yes. So when we are actually praying for somebody, we are, literally creating that energy of healing towards that person.
Yeah.
నమస్కారం సార్ నేను శ్రీమాకు ఉంటుందంటారు సార్
Yes. So to the degree that we rise in the consciousness of by contemplating qualities and attributes of God, do we generate spiritual electronic waves of harmony, health, and peace? See, we rise in the consciousness of contemplating qualities and attributes of God. So
Yeah,
many
this is very
remarkable
important
things.
in this absolute method.
Yes. So it is.
And
it
also,
is like yes. Yes.
as you said that how you healed your mother, how you heard what you wanted to hear from your friend who is a single mother.
Yes.
So that was also a mental, maybe your mental conversation got the result you wanted. Here, so through sound therapy, they are mentioning, but it is about healing the others.
Yes. See, even if we are praying for
So,
somebody, we are doing the same thing now. Pushkani, we are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
When we are sending, prayers, collective prayers, we have so many ways of, praying for the other people. Like Amit ji was there, his mother is in hospital. So even then, that, that first thought is that person should be fine. So we, the first thought, every person, every child, every, spouse, everybody says that the person ahead who is suffering should be fine. But, if we understand this basic knowledge of how our subconscious mind works, so then the healing, starts within the whole family. It is like a transformative journey, right?
Yeah, it was also mentioned in the earlier chapters that there is no time and space. So whatever we think, it comes into our experience. I mean, whenever someone is sick, if something like this comes into our experience or into our knowledge, as you said, we just have to converse within ourselves that he is fine or she is fine.
Yes. This so I can
So that
vouch on this.
Our elevated levels of consciousness brings that into our experience again by bringing that person from the current level to the level which we decided.
Yes.
By making them healthy and wealthy.
If you remember the previous chapters, then there was a heterogeneous suggestion, auto-suggestion and heterogeneous suggestion.
Yes.
I remember
Heterosuggestion.
Heterosuggestion, yes. So, what I remember is when I was like 20 years back, maybe more than that, 25 years, maybe when I was unmarried, then what happened was there was a neighbor of mine and that auntie suddenly came to our house and she was telling my mom that she's got thyroid suddenly. I had heard the word for the first time. And she was telling the symptoms. This happens. And after a long period of, understanding this through meditation and subconscious readings and all, I realized that it was a thought, and at that moment, I just went into a little hypnosis for myself. And I realized at that moment came alive, and I just picked up that the emotion of how that feels, the symptom feels. Can you believe it? I literally shook my head at that. I realized that I, actually got it on my body, on myself. I actually became
I
a
too
thyroid
had
patient.
so many experiences. Yeah, true.
And
what you said is true. It happens to everybody. It's only that we don't realize until we pay attention.
Yes. And then
takes
so
so
many
many
years
things
I
that way.
suffered with that, but you won't believe. Then I started telling myself, I did not knew all these things, but it's again the prayer that worked. I started telling myself that I am absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. My body is healed. Believe me, my thyroid has actually vanished.
Too good.
It has actually vanished. And it is like, abhi hum jaise bol rahe the, Ritika, कि, whatever you think. At one point of time when I was seeing my father-in-law having so much of problems and all, I really wanted to understand the depth of why we have all these issues on our body, or why we have to suffer so much. That is the point I decided for myself that I will heal my thyroid. See, whatever we say, it just becomes an experience, right? And as these sessions are
Yes.
recorded and they are going to be, many people listening to it. So I think it should help so many people to overcome that, how we have brought that heterogeneous suggestion from somebody or some disease, and we keep on discussing, gossiping, talking about illness. Unconsciously, we are, instead of sending a better thought to the people, we keep on discussing all these things. That because of this happened, because of this happened. In fact, I think when we understand that the power of healing is within us, so first thing, as conscious, readers also, we should stop discussing our physical issues with anybody and telling the symptoms and all, except with the doctor or somebody who can actually help us. It should be a little literally a mum thing, so that in our own mind we can start, the more we are quieter outside, the more we are alert inside. And the more we are alert inside, whatever is going in our mind becomes very easy to capture. Those thoughts are very easy to
Good
capture.
advice. Good suggestion, Parulji. Everybody has to follow this.
Yes. So the lesser we talk about our diseases, the more we have that option to heal ourselves. The more that body goes into that flourishing mode, because we just now we read now that there are two options. So the health is normal. See, health is normal.
Yeah.
So we have to really believe in this. Okay, so let's
Everybody
continue.
has to believe in that.
Yes. Anybody has to say something? Shilpi, Shweta?
Yeah, I just joined. Please tell the page number.
Page number is 72.
Okay.
No, sorry, 72 we finished. 73. The cripple walks. A cripple walks. We have to read.
Okay.
And in this page 73, in the third paragraph is saying, to the degree that we rise in the consciousness. I'm repeating this. By contemplating qualities and attributes of God. So it is like contemplating on qualities and attributes means what? For God, everything is possible, right? So in that way, when I say that God is within me or God is with me, then in that state of mind, in that state of contemplating the quality, when I tell my own subconscious that this is going to happen, so it is like everything is possible for God. So whatever I'm saying is like a truth. And when we continuously think about good for everybody, it is actually going to heal our own life.
Yeah, here they also mean that we rise in consciousness by contemplating qualities and attributes of God. Also means that by contemplating more on those features, we rise to that level and we become that.
Yes.
That is why we rise to that level and we vibrate in that vibration. We vibrate it and we
Yes.
become that. That's how we are actually initiating the power within us to start its process and get the thing done.
Yes.
We have to elevate ourselves to the state desired. That is why here they have mentioned that the John Jones, whoever he is trying to heal, initially when he becomes the one who is healing, becomes quieter and he elevates himself to the attributes of God by contemplating on those features. He gets into that quieter state and then he thinks that the other person is healed. So he is initially elevating himself in his consciousness, he is getting to that state. And then
Yes.
he is bringing that other person, the patient, the other person to the state in which he is. He
Yes.
is raising his consciousness and sending the same to the other person whom he wants to heal.
I'm so happy, you know. Before reading this, I did actually with my mom.
Yeah.
This is
The
exactly I
more
did. No?
we,
See?
yeah, the more we think, we pay attention, we contemplate, the more we
Mm.
recollect things we do without our knowledge, which have association with the things we are discussing in the book. It's
Yes.
our daily routine, but we don't
Mm.
know because we don't analyze properly. We don't know how to direct our thoughts. So when we have a very beautiful guide like this book, and
Mm.
it's going to help the mankind for changing, for getting everything, whatever
Yes.
they want, for the greatest good of the mankind.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's read further. Any okay. Anybody read? Shilpi, will you read? A cripple walks.
Yes, I'll read.
Mm.
Cripple Walks. Dr. Phineas Parkhurst Quimby, of whom we spoke previously in this chapter, used the absolute method in the latter years of his healing career. He was
Be a
really the
little loud.
father of a cripple walks. Dr. Phineas Parkhurst Quimby, of whom we spoke previously in this chapter, used the absolute method in the latter years of his healing career. He was really the father of psychosomatic medicine and the first psychoanalyst. He had the capacity to diagnose clairvoyantly, clair, clair,
Clairvoyantly.
clairvoyantly the cause of the patient's trouble, pains, and aches. The following is a condensed account of the healing of a cripple as recorded in Quimby's manuscripts. Quimby was called on to visit a woman who was lame, aged, and bedridden. He states that her ailment was due to the fact that she was imprisoned by a creed so small and contracted that she could not stand up upright and move about. She was living in the tomb of fear and ignorance. Furthermore, she was taking the Bible literally and it frightened her. In this tomb, Quimby said, was the presence and power of God trying to burst the bands, break through the bond, and rise from the dead? When she would ask others for an explanation of some passages of the Bible, the answer would be a stone. Then she would hunger for the bread of life. Dr. Quimby diagnosed her case as a mind cloudy and stagnated, due to excitation and fear caused by the inability to see clearly the meaning of the passage of the Bible which he had been reading. This showed itself in the body by her heavy and sluggish feeling, which would terminate as paralysis. At this point, Quimby asked her what was meant in the Bible verses. Yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Ye shall seek me, and shall not find me, and where I am, thither ye cannot me. John 7:33-34. He replied that it meant Jesus went to heaven. Quimby explained what it really meant by telling her that being with her a little while meant his explanation of her symptoms, feelings, and their causes. That is, he had compassion and sympathy for her momentarily, but he could not remain in that mental state. The next step was to go to him that sent us, which, as Quimby pointed out, was the creative power of God in all of us. Quimby immediately travelled in his mind and contemplated the divine ideal, that is, the vitality, intelligence, harmony, and power of God functioning in the sick person. This is why he said to the woman, therefore, where I go, you cannot come, for you are in your narrow, restricted belief, and I am in hell. This prayer and explanation produced an instantaneous sensation, and a change came over her mind. She walked without her crutches. Quimby said it was one of the most singular of all his blessings. She was, as it were, dead to error, and to bring her to life or truth was to raise her from the dead. Quimby quoted the resurrection of Christ and applied it to her own Christ or hell. This produced a powerful effect on her. He also explained to her that the truth which she accepted was the angle or idea which rolled away the stone of fear, ignorance, and superstition, thereby releasing the healing power of God which made her whole.
See, releasing the healing power of God, which made her whole. Such a beautiful thought. And again, he says he also explained to her that the truth which she accepted was the angle or idea which rolled away the stone of fear, ignorance, and superstition. Very important. Fear, ignorance, and superstition. Thereby releasing. So, what he's saying is again that we are restricted in our own belief. Therefore, in this page 74, last paragraph also is writing, therefore, where I go, you cannot come, for you are in your narrow, restricted belief, and I am in health. See? So when we are restricted, we don't believe, this is possible. How is this possible? That is a limitation we carry. That we don't know how this will happen. Whereas he's saying, when I'm already healthy, there is nothing, there is no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. So again, in this paragraph, he's saying that she replied that it meant Jesus went to heaven. Quimby explained what it really meant by telling her that being with her a little while meant his explanation for all her symptoms, feelings, and their causes, that he had compassion and sympathy for her momentarily, but he could not remain in that mental state. The next step was to go to him that sent us, which, as Quimby pointed out, was the creative power of God in all of us. Creative power of God in all of us. So, anybody has to say something?
Yeah, in the same para, in the last para on the page 74, where it is written, therefore, where I go, you cannot come. For you are in your narrow, restricted belief, and I am in health. मुझे ऐसा लगता है by saying this sentence that I am in health, he is saying in an affirmative way, in a positive sense, which means he is in the abundance of thoughts and positivity.
Yes.
This is what he means now by saying I am in health.
I'm in health means he's saying about the power of God. When he's connecting that way, he's thinking like he has the power of God. So he's saying, I am in health, because you don't believe in the higher power, you don't believe in prayers, you don't believe. So, we all think that something which has come on us is just, we don't know how it will happen or how it will heal. Whereas our body, we don't know how our heart is working, we don't know how our lungs are working. Everything, this entire body is working on its own. We don't have to do anything. But when the mind goes so heavy with all the negative thoughts, we start, suppressing emotions. And we don't believe in that healing power. So this is what he's saying, go inwards. Every time he's mentioning that we have the power of God, we are only into, in fear, ignorance, and superstition of not believing it. Yes, Pushkani.
Parul ji, Shweta ji, can she ask her question again? I just want to hear to her again.
Yes.
Yeah, like, please tell me.
Shweta ji or Shilpa ji, someone had a doubt just now. Is it Shilpa ji?
Maybe Shilpa, I think.
Shilpi was saying
Yeah.
something.
I couldn't, I want her to repeat her query again.
Yeah, I was just trying to contemplate the word that he has used now, the line that he says, I am in health. I was trying to understand this phrase. In health means he's in I interpret that he's saying I am in abundance, I am complete. And the way I'm able to understand is but he's treating him as if he's in a God consciousness. This is what I understood from it.
Yeah. Now here, considering this case, Dr. Quimby understood that the woman was not able to, with her knowledge, when she was reading the Bible, she couldn't get the clear meaning of the words she was reading. So it was like to go to him that sent us. She had a wrong interpretation of these lines, whatever paragraph that was mentioned. So while explaining her about that, the state which you are staying as the health is God. Here he did that. He brought her to a state of understanding that the entire power, the creative power, whichever has created this entire universe, that power which we call it as God, is the thing where one has to go. But she had a wrong interpretation of that, and he made her understand that that creative power is within her own mind. It's not somewhere else that she has to go. So when she understood this, that's when the instantaneous reaction which occurred as a change in her movement was resulted due to the instantaneous change in the belief because of the explanation that Dr. Quimby given to her. So here the health, abundance, everything was described as the God, and where all the creative power which has created, which can change, which can heal, everything is there. So that health, you can describe it as God, and you can describe it as the power of subconscious. You can describe it as the inner power within us or Almighty, whatever it is. So here he used those words only to change her interpretation of the Bible, so that he changed her faith, and wherein he saw the immediate result. So it's applicable for all of us also. When we are thinking,
Mhm.
we have to think of that health, that creative power, that abundance, whatever it is. It all denotes the creative power of our subconscious mind. Therefore, where I go, you cannot come, for you are in your narrow, restricted belief, and I am in health. This health word, that God word, everything indirectly denotes the creative power of subconscious mind. Did you get my point, Shilpiji?
Yeah. Yes.
She
That's very
was in fear, and that's why she was almost paralyzed. So that's where he is showing the difference, that you are on to the negative side and I am on the positive side.
positive.
And
Right.
that positive side is not outside of you, it's in your own creative power of your subconscious. The moment he was able to change her faith, at that similar single moment, he could see the instantaneous reaction in her sensation.
Yes.
Right.
We all can also do this.
So it is she is written. Dr. Quimby diagnosed her case as a mind cloudy and stagnated due to excitation and fear. So that is
Her wrong interpretation caused that fear.
Yeah, exactly. So let's continue. Let's end the chapter. Then we can continue to discuss. We have 10 minutes. Okay, let me read. The decree method. Power goes into our word according to the feeling and faith behind it. When we realize the power that moves the world is moving on our behalf and is backing up our word, our confidence and assurance grow. You do not try and add power to power. Therefore, there must be no mental striving, coercion, force, or mental wrestling. Force or mental wrestling. This is something this ends the ego. Where there is no force or mental wrestling, because the mental wrestling goes on, I think, the entire day, something or the other. A young girl used the decree method on a young man who was constantly phoning her, pressing her for dates, and meeting her at her place of business. She found it very difficult to get rid of him. She decreed as follows: I release unto God. He is in his true place at all times. I am free and he is free. I now decree that my words go forth into infinite mind and it brings it to pass. It is so. She said he vanished and she had never seen him since, adding, it was as though the ground swallowed him up. Such nice thing. If we tell our, girls, or in fact, everybody, whenever we sound some danger or we are creating some wrong thoughts about it, this is how, so many crimes can be stopped. If we are conscious of our thoughts, that there is a power in God and it will be, it will work immediately. The more important point is it is going to work immediately. So it is like a mental chase. Somebody is chasing, somebody is, not doing the right acts. Then without uttering a word or without doing any bad action, without abusing, without yelling, without doing anything, just by the power of our mind, we can actually make the person shift. This is something very good. So thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon the ways. Job 22:28. Serve yourself with scientific truth. Be a mental engineer and use tried and proven techniques in building a grander and greater life. Your desire is your prayer. Picture the fulfillment of your desire now and feel its reality, and you will experience the joy of the answered prayer. Desire to accomplish things the easy way with the sure aid of mental science. Desire to accomplish things the easy way. So that means again the story which we are telling to ourselves, and that has to be with a very loving way, very easy way. You can build radiant health, success, and happiness by the thoughts you think in the hidden studio of your mind. Experiment scientifically until you personally prove that there is always a direct response from the infinite intelligence of your subconscious mind in your conscious thinking. Feel the joy and restfulness in foreseeing the certain accomplishments of your desire. Any mental picture which you have in mind is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It is any mental picture which you have in your mind. See, so the next point is a mental picture is worth 1,000 words. Your subconscious will bring to pass any picture held in the mind backed by faith. Avoid all effort or mental coercion in prayer. Get into a deep, drowsy state, a sleepy, drowsy state, and lull yourself to sleep, feeling and knowing that your prayer is answered. So that is like bringing into that gut feeling that yes, this is done. Remember that the thankful heart is always close to the riches of the universe. To affirm is to state that it is so, and as you maintain this attitude to mind as true, regardless of all the evidence to the contrary, you will receive an answer to your prayer. Generate electronic waves of harmony, health, and peace by thinking of the love and glory of God. What you decree and feel as true will come to pass. Decree harmony, health, peace, and abundance. Such a beautiful chapter we had, read today. Yes. Any takeaways? What are the takeaways? We have around 4 minutes, so we can have a little bit of takeaways. So what technique are you going to practice? Anybody has loved any good technique? I like the sleep technique actually. I really like that. I actually love that sleep technique that you are, telling your gut feeling that in the morning something different is going to come up. And eventually it is going to come up. Yes, Pushkarni, Ritika, Shweta, all mics are off. Please say.
Yes, ma'am. That the last decree method, I just like it touched me a lot. Like the word "I am free" and "he is free." This
Yes.
really meant something connected to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
And you should read page 67. You were not there, na? We had discussed a
Yes.
lot in that.
Right, ma'am. Okay.
That will also help you because it's saying everything is going in the divine order. Okay.
Okay.
So when you say that release, I release, I'm free and he is free. And then it is again
Yeah.
everything is in the divine order.
Oh, correct. Yes.
So that is how you won the case.
Yes, ma'am. True.
So it
And
will
the
then
interesting
Automatically,
point in the decree method, Shwetaji, is when we realize the power that moves the world is moving on our behalf.
yeah.
So by decreeing, you are declaring
Mm.
that this is what I want, this is going to
Without
happen. And when you
mental
decree it,
striving and
it has to.
force.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ah.
yes, yes.
You know,
With
actually,
ease,
force-
when you decree it and
yeah,
you receive it.
that
Correct,
this
correct.
this
It's like
one
a
point,
complete surrender kind of a thing.
yes. It is, you know, it is surrender. You can say it is a good self-talk. We say, no, love yourself. Love yourself means
Yeah.
when you create gentle and harmonious thoughts, yes, it will happen. Eventually, what I am thinking is going to come past. Then I'm going to have it. So, you know, what you are doing is you are receiving. You have opened your receiving part. Normally, what
Correct.
we do is we think receiving means external receiving. First, we have to give it mentally. You know, I will
Correct.
get it.
Yes.
Then when I am actually in that state that I am receiving, yes, I will get it. You know, I am just convincing myself that my old belief says, no, you can't, but my new belief says I can. It is possible. It is already
Yes.
done.
Mm.
By
So
decreeing, you are ordering it, you are commanding it actually. Whatever
Yes.
you command, that has to appear in front of you. You have to receive it. That means you
Yeah.
are taking the entire power within you. You are accepting the infinite power within you. And when you
Mhm.
accept that power as yours, then only you can decree. This to implement this decree method, you have to be in that state wherein you only release, you vibrate with that highest power. Then
Yes.
you then only you decree, and whatever you decree gets manifested.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So even as Parulji said, even prior to receiving, you actually
Mm.
become that. You actually live in that state of supreme power before decreeing. When you, after being in that state, you decree.
You know, it
Correct.
actually switches the mood. It from being hard, you become soft. You think, oh, this is really going to happen. You know, this excites me.
Yes.
Okay. So actually, before you know this session,